Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another exciting episode of Bees Cast Live. And we are so live that Tyler Petersen literally just flew into the screen and logged in, made it with seconds to spare before the live stream began, Tyler.
Live TV, baby. Doesn't it take you back, Casey?
It does. It takes me way back. I, on the other hand, took time, put on a nice elf hat, got a little moose mug filled with eggnog. But before I enjoy this eggnog, Tyler, I think we should run through a few Christmas gifts, some presents that the Ballers have delivered for Bees fans right ahead of the Christmas day with holiday season here. We don't want to be stagnant. We want to keep giving you guys things to enjoy. So the most recent news here, I'm just going to throw it on the screen. I don't have video of him, but I have an image. Valak Cisneros. Tell me a little bit about signing Valak and what he will bring to the Oakland Ballers. We'll go rapid fire because we have a few more pitchers to talk about.
Absolutely. Three pitchers. I know you touched on one last stream when I was in here, but Valak we've been chasing after for a while. Big right-handed pitcher. A couple years in the draft league, put up some really big numbers. He was a closer at Central Oklahoma, which is a Division II conference school. He was the closer there, put up some big numbers each year. Big strikeout numbers. He's got a nice big breaking ball as well, so he'll be a nice addition to this bullpen. I am feeling a little bit underdressed now, Casey, though. So when you introduce this next pitcher, I'm going to get into the Christmas spirit a little bit. And this is live, so I'm going to jump off for 1 second.
Very risky.
Yep.
Very risky. Here we go. And as Tyler runs here, I'm also going to point out that we did pick out all of our top plays, and we're going to run those plays for you. I'm going to start, though, not in order. I'll go backwards. Solomon Washington, Tyler, I know you can hear me, is a pitcher that wow. See, now, here's the problem. Like, you need my hat, and I need your hoodie. And
as you can see, I do have a ball at the end of this. So
that was a way better costume change than I expected, Tyler. Here you go. I'm going to play some video. My first impression when I saw this video you sent me is absolute smoke from Solomon Washington.
Well, Solomon is a big arm. Yeah, up to 96 in 2025. You can see the pullback there. He generates a lot of power. Another big right-handed pitcher. And with Austin P., really showed off the good stuff. In the draft league as well, he threw a lot of innings. So we're going to see another big piece to this bullpen. I don't know how you feel with Casey necessarily when you watch a lot of these players move on. One of the strongest points that the Ballers had last year was a really, really solid bullpen. And that is going to have to get rebuilt. So it's going to be these guys coming in now. They're going to help rebuid it. And if Connor Sullivan does decide to be a fireman next year, then we're going to have to find a new closer. And I would not be surprised if someone like Valak or Solomon or Nick Batista, who you guys touched on last stream, was that man.
Nasty. Nick Batista here. Amazing looking off-speed pitches.
Yeah, so Nick Bautista was drafted originally by the Texas Rangers out of Cypress JC down in SoCal. He bounced around to the Mets organization as well, so you just saw a highlight from him or from his time with the St. Lucie Mets in the Florida State League. And then with Joliet and Missoula, put up some decent numbers, and he wanted to come back to the California side. He's ready to pitch. He's ready to throw. He's got some upcoming pro days, but he wanted to be part of this Ballers equation now, which is awesome to see. So he's not afraid of an off-season buyout or anything with his pro days coming up. So we're excited about Nick.
Yeah. Now, if Sully wants to be a firefighter of a different kind, he was very much a firefighter for the Ballers last year as a closer, setting the PBL record for saves. Absolutely amazing season for Sully. And as we transition into our top plays of 2025, you and I have both assembled some lists and some clips to show. You better be sure that Sully's going to be at the end of one of those clips. So, Tyler, I think what I'm going to do is we had a lot of amazing moments. Oakland, often the walk-off capital of the world. We won 73 games, breaking the PBL Modern Era wins record. We won a championship. We got a key to the city. It went about as good as possible, and we could run 1,000 clips from last season, but we pulled just some of our favorites, some of our biggest moments. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead you into some of these clips, and then we'll talk on the other end. But First and foremost, there was just too many walk-offs, so I put a bunch in concession, and I just want to sit and listen to you. I want to sit and listen to Nevada Cullen, who, by the way, is not coming back next season, so we are on a search for the next top Nevada. So as you listen to these clips, keep in mind, you could be one of the people calling these plays. Let's start it off with some walk-offs.
Everyone will be off. The 0-1, Harris takes, it's past Mendoza. Here comes the runner, Cobb. He will score. And the Ballers win it with 2 runs in the 9th.
It's the walk-off wild pitch. Pandemonium at Raimondi. Helmick laced 92, but lined out. Cobb swings, powers it, straight away center field. Trey Cobb calls game. Walk it off, Oakland. A pinch hit solo bomb to center. Flashbacks of opening day. 9-8 your final.
The 1-1. Here it comes. Allgaier, line drive to right. It is down for a base hit. 1 run scores. They're sending bugs. The throw home is not in time. Jake Allgaier walks off the High Wheelers. 1. Jones from the windup. The pitch to Tatum. He swings. High drive. Left field. And we are going home.
I did sneak some Dylan Tatum low-angle celebration in at the end of that clip because as you're up in the booth calling those moments in real time, I'm down there often dodging and risking life and limb not to get hit with a cooler or a flying helmet. And so it just gives you the idea of just how intense those walk-offs can be. Tyler, a lot of great calls there. As you're in the booth and you can sense the moments coming, what do you do to prepare yourself or even your voice, or do you just let it fly?
Well, you try to drink as much water as you can, which you can tell was not necessarily the case in some of those clips. But you start to go through. One of the things I was told early often as a 24, 25-year-old broadcaster by some producers and folks who worked with what they call talent in the industry, which is a little bit of a grandiose title, but that I kind of lacked anticipation early on. So when I'm put in a situation like that where a pitch can win for your team, you start to go into your mind, okay, how are you going to approach what is about to happen? What are you going to do in certain situations? And I really do not like to bank a call. I don't want to have something ready in my mind. Okay, if we win, I'm going to say this. That's not really how I go about it. The only time I did that was for the final out of the championship, where I knew I wanted to get that right. So after the big home run by Cam in the 8th, I started to write down what I wanted to say in my mind. What did I want to say in the order I wanted to say it? But otherwise, I just let it kind of flow, and whatever comes out, comes out. Now, you want to have good control over your voice, and there are, of course, some instances where you like to hear maybe a voice break because that tells that you're actually emotional about it. There's, there is some involvement in the moment rather than just being a little bit more, Joe Buck and we'll see you tomorrow night, which has its time and place. But for a team broadcaster, you want to feel the emotion with the fans. So I try to hit a decent sort of between each one of those. The one clip we didn't show, I believe, from all the walk-offs was Isai Santos' walk-off single against Boise, which was a little bit of a back and forth, I think, blown lead to walk-off in a 14-13 game against the Hawks. But for some of those games, I mean, that walk-off wild pitch against Glacier, that was a game where Cam Cowan couldn't throw a strike, and we got back in that game through walks and hit by pitches. That was the same with the Allgaier walk-off, when Mason Bryant and I think the other player I can't think of the other pitcher who sort of led us back into the game. Neither of them could throw a strike either, and we got a few back via walks just for Allgaier to get us through. But it underscores a team that really just at every point in the season never actually really gave up, which is beyond a cliche because that's how they really felt about themselves, that they weren't out of the games. Now that is actually too big of a compliment to give.
It's an unbelievable compliment. Randy Hahn,
as
one
a
of the
major
absolute
Sharks
best.
fan who just idolizes Randy Hahn, I am not becoming of that compliment. Not yet. I would love to be someday. But
That was a good call. Well, hold on. Let me just do this because I was going to play these in a certain order. But you were just talking about that last out and kind of thinking of how you wanted to present that moment. And in that, you obviously threw a nod to Bill King, which obviously my favorite broadcaster ever. No offense, Tyler, to you. But I'm going to go ahead and play the call. Let's just listen to it because I want to show it now so we can hear it and see what you were just talking about.
The 1-2 pitch on its way. It is swung on and missed. It's all over. Oakland are Pioneer League champions in 2025. They come all the way back in the series to complete the greatest season in Pioneer League history. Holy Toledo!
Holy Toledo. There it is. A signature of Bill King, the legend who called the A's, called the Raiders, called the Warriors. We grew up on Bill King, and we're blessed to have been able to listen to him call all of the teams in Oakland. So there you go. There's the nod there, and you chose to do that for a very specific reason.
yeah, so as I said, I really don't get calls ready like that very often because I think there is a little bit of inauthenticity when you sort of decide what you're going to say. But for that, I'm not reading, but I'm writing down my ideas so that in order I know how I want to say them. It's what I want to say. I don't know how I'm going to say it exactly because it's going to come out a little bit different depending on the situation. I don't know that he's going to strike him out, for example. But once I knew the game was over as a contest, you kind of want to get ready. The only thing that clip didn't show was that I said, for the first time since 2018, Oakland celebrates a pro championship, which was a nod to the Warriors' last championship in Oakland. But for that, I wanted to give that nod to Bill because I thought that there were a lot of times where you could have made the Holy Toledo light up in center field, let's say, on moments in the season.
A lot of them, which we will show you here in just a moment, too. A lot of Holy Toledo moments, but really, that one meant the most. That was the ultimate Holy Toledo moment.
And I think it's just that little nod to say, you know, this is still yours. You know, this is still something that you can love. This is Oakland baseball. So while I felt it would have been a little bit sort of inauthentic for me to say it, I thought it was the right time and the right moment, and it deserved a Holy Toledo. And that's why it's the only time I said it all year.
Yeah. And there's another one. I'm going to just jump right in. So this is a list that both Tyler and I curated, and I'm going to just start firing them off, and we're going to start talking about them because we really wanted to do something where if you're sitting at home during this little time off and you want to kind of just relive these things before we flip the calendar, or hey, maybe you're just bored and we wanted to give you some cool things to watch. So this one could have easily been a Holy Toledo. I'm going to take it from the very last out of the season to the very first night of the season, and that's when Tremaine Cobb Jr. announced his presence with authority.
Harris down the line, deep, and the Ballers have walked it off on opening night. Cobb Jr., 5 hits.
Five hits for Tremaine Cobb Jr., including that knockout round on opening night, a huge night for the Oakland Ballers and Trey. And another example, what I was talking about, down on the field, those celebrations get a little wild, and there's like 20 people chasing him around and ripping his shirt off, and that set the tone for the whole season, right, Tyler?
Well, you were very kind to me because what comes right after that is me saying, "For the game winner!" Like
I
Dave
cut it out
Fleming.
for you.
Like Dave Fleming on Edgar Renteria's home run in the World Series. Let me talk about that game, though, because that was a game where the Ballers trailed 4-1 going into the ninth, and you had Michael O'Hara hitting a ball over Bagneski that he misjudged and got a double to lead off that inning. You had Trey Cobb getting his 5th hit for an RBI. You had Isai Santos getting a pinch hit at bat, his first of the season, and getting his first pro hit. And then you had Lou Helmick hitting a ball down the line, which some of us thought was a walk-off home run. And I will say that the call for Cobb winning the game, I was much more composed and in a better spot because the Lou call, which I remember all too well, I had trouble getting throughout the whole time. And Nevada had just offered me before that at bat a throat lozenge because I was getting pretty, it was getting pretty sparse and dry in there. So I had said during the call, Lou Helmick making me lose my voice as this is a tie game or one-run game. And I said, give me that lozenge, Nevada. But that was a ninth inning. That was crazy. There was a play where Danny Harris hit a ball to the outfield that scored the tying run where Lou was headed to third and would have been thrown out by Kenny Oyama had not Aaron Miles blew a lung to tell Lou Helmick to start running back. And then Trey to win that in the knockout round. I think he beat Sargent 1-0 in that derby. It was a wild way to begin the year.
He just needed one. He got it, and we all went nuts. You just mentioned him, so I'm going to play this. This wasn't a walk-off, but it was late-inning heroics from Danny Harris, who was an absolute joy to have on the team this year. So let's listen to his home run here. Big home run in the 8th, and then we'll talk more about it.
3-2. The pitch to Harris. Swing. High drive. Left field. It is out of here.
Some theatrics against the High Wheelers to boot, which is always good. Everything seems to be more fun when it's at the expense of the High Wheelers, right, Tyler?
Yeah, and that home run was off of the lefty. I can't remember his name now, but they brought in that lefty, Sam Drumheller, to face Danny in that at bat. And the Ballers in that inning actually had been coming back in that game and had just tied it when they brought in Drumheller. I know I said I don't really bank calls, but if you are a Bay Area sports fan at all, you would recognize that call as a signature one of Dwayne Kuiper. I had never used Kuip's call in a broadcast in my entire career. I'd always wanted to find a moment where it sort of hit me naturally, because I don't think, the next home run, I'm going to do it. But for that spot, if it was a 3-2 count to take the lead in that game, when it came out, I followed through on it, and it just felt so good in that moment because it felt like a big moment. It was a huge home run. We had come back. It was the day after Allgaier's walk-off. So it was another late comeback in the second half, and it just felt like everything was going right.
Yeah, I'm going to play another play. You mentioned a walk-off by Isai earlier that I did not put in, and I didn't put it in for a reason because I wanted to talk more about this Isai home run against the Yuba Sutter High Wheelers. Isai Santos in the 9th, going yard, grand slam, and everybody went absolutely
They need to get this final out of Santos, who is trying to put Oakland in front with the bases loaded.
All it'll take is just one little bloop.
First pitch swinging. Deep to left center. Santos. A grand slam for the lead in the 9th. Isai Santos with a 2-homer game. Oakland 8, Yuba Sutter 4. Some salami for Santos in the 9th inning.
My favorite pieces of that clip. One, no home run cart in Yuba Sutter, so they had to pick him up and carry him as the home run cart. 2, Ben Verhoek, Bees Cast producer, pastime tattoo shop owner, amazing guy. You can hear him. He's actually guesting in the booth with Nevada on the road. and he says all it'll take is a bloop. And then later, after he hits the grand slam, you can hear him clapping in the broadcast booth, which is a huge no-no if you're a broadcaster. But hey, it's essentially a game-winning grand slam. And also, the Ballers ended up winning 11 straight games against the High Wheelers, who were, at that time, the most dangerous opponent the Ballers had ever had. So, huge. Lots going on there.
We always wanted to see, after that 24 year, what it would be like if the two teams hadn't faced each other, because I think the Ballers had won 19, the High Wheelers had won 17 between their split that year in 38 games. So if they didn't play each other, maybe both teams would have won 60 games that year. But we got to see them go head-to-head this year in just 3 series, and the Ballers had a major advantage. I mean, that Grand Slam for Santos, I remember it, and one of the coolest things about having Nevada go on the road this year was, one, I really got to focus more on my ops side of my position, because on the road, it is not what I would call vacation travel. I mean, you are kind of getting bussed back and forth to the hotel. You're on a schedule. If you want to walk 15 minutes to get food somewhere, you can. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck there. I mean, it is very tight when you're on the road. So there's not a lot of opportunities to do stuff. You're prepping for games. So that really freed up my time in the off season, or during the season. The other great thing about not traveling on the road was that I got to listen to Nevada put together some excellent broadcasts. I don't think that's the same series where he got sick and had pho DoorDash to him by a fan.
Yes.
But I do remember listening to that, laying on my couch listening to the games. And I would watch the games sometimes, but mostly I would listen to them, because I would, invariably maybe text 860 or text Nevada if there was something on the broadcast that needed a little hand. But I just loved listening to him. And he just called such a good game. And if anything's going to make me look smart in my job, it's probably hiring him, because he is such a star and he will be missed. I will say, we're going to plug something. I don't know how to, can I share a screen real quick?
We'll see. We'll see if you can. We'll see what.
Is this being shared?
This might break the entire podcast.
Is it being shared, Casey?
Hold on. I see you have put something up. I am going to try to add it to the stage, and let's see what happens.
Okay.
Boom! There it is. We did it.
So this is the job. This will close tomorrow on the 24th. If you are interested in Nevada's job, the Director of Broadcasting and Production, please apply on the teamwork.com website. You'll do broadcast and media. You'll also do some team travel. You need to have previous professional or college summer league experience to be considered. But I would love to see someone jump in and put their name in. So far, we have 85
That's it?
submissions.
Just 85 applicants?
85 applicants. We have, I think, 5 or 6 former Pioneer League applicants, actually. As far as broadcaster goes, so that gets very exciting.
Everyone wants to be America's next top Nevada.
Everyone wants to be America's
next top Nevada. That's what we've learned in this process.
Preference does go if your name is a state. So
and you mispronounce the name, too. You have to mispronounce the name that your state, that you're named after.
Exactly. So if there are any Oregons out there, we will give you preference.
In front of the list. Speaking of America's Next Top Nevada, let's listen to another one of his calls in Yuba Sutter. This is a great one because it's a pitching feat, and it was one that made Ballers history.
Tanner has thrown 8 2/3. He works from the windup. The right-hander from Danville. Starts his motion. Delivers. Ground ball to second. Harris on 2 hops. Throws to first in time. And Gabe Tanner has done it. A complete game win for the first time in Ballers history. It's the Danville native who seals a 14-3 Ballers win in Marysville by throwing just 93 pitches to get 27 outs.
93 pitch complete game, making Ballers history the first and I believe only complete game in the history of the franchise. Fortunately, Gabe Tanner will be back next season, and we will see him go out and try to do that all over again.
The fun thing about that, too, is that it was the day before, it might have been 2 days before, that Noah Milliken went into the 9th looking for the first ever complete game. And he got very close. He went 8 1/3. And when he was taken off the mound, the pitch before, he had just induced what could have been a potential double play ball to end the game that unfortunately Danny Harris booted, but he could have gotten a complete game on that day as well. The pitching staff for Oakland that year, especially from Milliken and Tanner, was one of the great surprises of the year because you just never know. You try to do your best scouting, you try to find the guys who are right, but you don't really know it until you go out there and you watch them pitch. And they both were masterful. Gabe will be happy to have him back as our ace this year as we try to get him a job in Major League Baseball. Noah is moving on to the American Association and looking to make a job out of spring training with the Winnipeg Goldeyes. But what Tanner was able to do, I think certainly was unexpected. And he was throwing 7-8 innings repeatedly, especially in that last month. He threw 8 innings against the Raptors. I think he threw 7 against Idaho Falls. It might have even been 8. But you give the guy the ball, and you're expecting a 90 to 100 pitch gem. And it's a great thing where you can just say that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good thing. Gabe Tanner, by the way, 9-0, undefeated on the season, did amazing in the postseason, and on January 13th will be live with us, Tyler, at Fieldwork in San Leandro, where we do Beescast Live from Fieldwork in San Leandro, and hopefully we're going to have way more people there than just Gabe and Tyler and myself, and we're going to try to get the place packed as we hopefully fill the Pioneer Baseball League trophy up with Fieldwork once again.
Yeah, if you enjoy yourself a nice little craft adult beverage, please join us. If you want to have some root beer too, I'm sure they have alternates, but come and hang out.
And I'm drinking right now eggnog out of a moose mug, and I've never really drank an eggnog, and it's not terrible.
To me, it has sort of a bubblegummy flavor that doesn't quite agree with my palate.
But it's okay. Probably milk-based. Shout out Milkman. Also, shout out Reed Butts, who pitched great for the Ballers, had some big strikeout performances, and Luke Short Dog, that's Oakland baby. Both Reed and Shorty recently signed with AA teams, right?
Yeah, so we knew about Luke. I don't think it's been officially announced by his club yet, but Reed will be signing with the Sioux City Explorers to join Cam Buford and Dylan Tatum, and we knew we weren't going to be able to bring back Reed on a standard contract. If we could bring back Reed, it would have been as a franchise pitcher. So he has, for lack of a better term, sort of used up his time in this league. So we really were hoping we could land him in a spot in the American Association. That is now complete, and we look forward to him having a nice year up there.
Congrats to Reed, one of the all-time great Ballers, one of the all-time great people on the Ballers, one of my favorite people to deal with, and I also love getting to know Reed's parents as well. Just a bunch of gems in that family, and it was great to have them around. And you just mentioned, Tyler, somebody that is going to once again be Reed's teammate. I think that's a great segue right into this clip.
2-1. Squared up, left field and deep. Has he done it again? This is unconscionable what Dylan Tatum is doing. Another home run. His 4-2 home run game of this week. This is a grand slam. That man is unstoppable. Goodness gracious. 15-6. 8th home run of the week.
8th home run of the week. I think that was his 11th RBI on the day. I didn't have Nevada's call on that, but it is nice to actually hear him snatch the soul of the visiting broadcaster as he delivers his 8th home run in that week. He was absolutely torrid on that stretch.
Well, I hate to say I forget the gentleman's name, but the broadcaster does work for Boise State as well, and he did a nice job to really capture that moment for the visiting team. But that was the 10 RBI game. I mean, no baller had ever had that many RBI in a game. Brett Barrera, what he did in Northern Colorado, got close, I think, with 8.
It was like a month worth of production in one day.
What he was able to do in those 3 weeks, or in that 2-week span, it began with Glacier at home. It ended with Rocky Mountain. That was when Oakland was on a 12-game winning streak, which was, I believe, one of 2 in 2025, which is ridiculous to say. Excuse me. And that was the time where we went from a team that was fighting for a spot, I think, at it might have been 14-9, and ended up, I think, maybe like 26-10 after it was all said and done. And for that trip, too, you might forget that began with a very dramatic blown save in the ninth. Maxion Goldberg, a 3-run home run off of Connor Sullivan to open the series in Boise. I do know that Aaron Miles had a rather rousing speech after that game, and the Ballers went on to win 12 straight. There was definitely it was definitely a hyped up bus after a loss, which I think is one of the reasons that makes Aaron such a great manager, is he knows what pressure points to put on when you hype a guy up, when you get on him, what his team needs, and it certainly was very effective.
Yeah, another game in which Aaron had a rousing speech at the conclusion was this next clip that I'm about to play. And I remember leading up to this day, it was tricky. There were games that you were not able to attend. There were games that Paul Friedman, co-founder of the Ballers, were not able to attend, and it just didn't feel right that the Ballers could clinch without both of you there. And as soon as you both came back, they did.
Here we go. The high kick and the 0-2, and it's swung on and missed. And that is a first half championship for Oakland. They are going to the playoffs for the second straight year and the only 2 years of their existence. They are the best team in the Pioneer League once again.
And it's cool to note that ever since Aaron Miles took the helm as manager, the Ballers have won every half since then. And that's how the Pioneer League standings work. You got to win the first half or second half to get a playoff berth. So winning those halves is big, and the Ballers won both of them last year.
Yeah, and you're right, Casey. That also came after a game where the Ballers thought they were going to be champions. They were up 4 in the ninth on the day game, the Tuesday day game. There was a Wednesday day game to be in that series, and late blown lead, knockout round loss, put the champagne back in the fridge.
Yeah, you never want to put the champagne back in the fridge.
What I remember about that game, I do believe, obviously that was former baller Stephen Wilmer, who was the man that Lambeau struck out. I believe that was Lambeau's last game as a baller, so he got to sort of walk off as a first half champ. And of course, Lambeau's going to get a ring, even though he spent the second half in Lexington, where he did amazing, by the way. I believe Malik Binns might have started that game even for the Rocky Mountain Vibes, who was not yet a baller.
Wow.
At that point, we knew it kind of was inevitable, but you just needed to see it come down. As you said, I wasn't available, and Paul was on a flight trying to get updates throughout the games the last couple of days. So he was, I think, glad he could be there to sip some champagne at the time.
It wouldn't have been right for that moment to happen without you guys. It was almost like the game got blown the day before, and it was the best thing that could have possibly happened.
Let me mention 2 more first half moments that stick out to me. In Rocky Mountain, Nick Leahy had a 3 home run game in a 20-0 shutout, and then the 15-run second inning in Ogden, which was quite a marathon, a game where they really beat up on the Raptors. I think previously the high might have been 12 that we had in one inning, but 15 runs an inning was just nuts.
And when you're doing the social media and trying to post the videos and they score 15 runs in one inning, it's just like, I can't keep up. I'm just gonna wait. I'll just wait to the 15th run and then I'll just post that. Jeez, I mean,
it's like
guys.
2-run double, sac fly. We don't want those. 3-run home run, that's fine. Now we'll put that in.
Save it for somebody else. Speaking of scoring in bunches, this one is one of my favorite clips of the year. You selected it. I loved it. I added the thing to the end that needed to be on there. You'll see exactly what I mean. And I believe this was another Nevada Cullen call.
It's a full league around a U.S. Army bases. This one is hammered. Might be the second home run of the night for Druick. Going back to the fence, and that one is gone.
I believe that took a piece
Of the scoreboard?
off of the P in Glacier Bank Park.
I was mistaken. That was not Nevada, and I did that on purpose because I wanted to hear the visiting team remark that our guy, Davis Druick, had broken their sign. It was Glacier Bank Arc after that, or maybe Dark. I'm not even sure what it was because he broke the P.
Those are our friends, Scott and Patrick, out there in Glacier. And yeah, that was Davis Druick had his first home run against the Ogden Raptors. He didn't start opening day. But I think he had 4 home runs against the Range Riders in that series. 2 in that game, and that was one of those moments where you're like, we better post that picture everywhere, because I remember capturing that screenshot on the screen.
It went on the web right away.
A little bit surprised. I was like, oh, they actually got a shot of it. Whereas I think if you're the home team, you're kind of like, don't show that. But yeah, he caused a little bit of damage. I mean, what a year he had too, Davis Druick, and such a strong first half, especially. A big bat, and it's always nice when you bring a team of guys in where you might have some guys where you're not really sure exactly what you're going to get. And for Davis to come out in his first pro year and have the kind of year he had, it's just a bonus, because you're like, all right, well, Christian Almanza, we kind of pencil him in to say big first baseman, going to hit a lot of bombs, middle of the order guy. We knew Cam was going to be like that. We thought maybe Patty Monteith would have that kind of year because of the year he had, but we weren't sure about Drew. And what he was able to do was just on top of that, that extra push where we're like, this lineup is stacked if Druick, who's batting in the 7, 8, 9 spot, is having these kinds of games.
Yeah, and shout out Dan Silvert. Yes, Dan, we don't rest. We don't take breaks here. We put on our festive attire, we drink our eggnog out of moose mugs, and we keep talking Ballers no matter what day of the year it is. You think we're not stopping? Come on.
Well, Dan's here too, so I don't know what he's complaining about.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to keep going too. We got more. You segued right into something that happened in same spot. And this one, I love this clip because the camera work on the road was so wonky for this, but the athletic feat was impressive.
He knows that he has just one swing left, and he's really being patient to see a shot. This one's sky high to left field. Does it have enough? And yes, it does. 3 home runs by Buford. What a mark to put up. That one might be 4 as it's going to the track, and it's gone. 4 home runs by Buford as he selects that one sky high to left. And it's gone. Cam Buford with 5 home runs has set a very significant mark.
He kind of caught fire in that knockout round, and man, Cam Buford hits the ball so far. And one of my favorite things is when you're down on the field and Aaron Miles is deciding who he's going to put in for the knockout round, and often it would be Buford or Cobb, but he would call on Cam, and you'd look over at Cam, and he'd just be sitting in the dugout like, yeah, I got it. Like, zero emotion, zero nerves, just completely cool, completely confident, and just goes out there and hits tanks, man.
I remember Nevada had such a good call of that as well. Scott did do it justice, and you don't want to sound like you're impressed by the visitors, but Scott always does a good job to play to the situation. Nevada's call was just so strong to listen to that on the radio here, and then I remember that Cam, I think, swung at like the first 2 or 3, and James said, back up, just watch these next 2. He did, and then he hit 3 in a row.
Yeah.
So I give half a hand to my man James Harris as well on that one.
And Dan Silver, yes, of course, this is Boozy Eggnog. It's December 23rd. It's Christmas Eve. It's hard to drink out of, though, with this nose situation, but I'm doing the best I can, guys, as I roll clips. I'm going to play one of my favorite clips, speaking of Cam Buford, because I remember this moment. It was a championship Game 5 in Oakland. I was in the dugout, and I just had a feeling something was going to happen. And so I took out my phone and I hit record. And later, when I told that story to the person that hit this home run, he said, can you send me that video? I want to have it. And so I texted it to him. Here it is.
What's up?
Jay Wald on the field. Shout out to Jay Walt, who came to every single one of those games in Oakland for the championship round and performed for all three, because we kept saying, well, you performed, we won, got to do it again, got to do it again, got to do it again. But that Cam Buford home run, mammoth. I think that the entire Oakland fan base and all the years of pent-up stress and anxiety were all kind of relieved right when he hit that ball. And obviously, and we will show some really big moments by Jake Allgaier earlier in that game, but that one shot right there by Cam Buford, I called it, I got out the camera, I hit record, I knew it was going to happen, and man, did he deliver.
Well, I mean, he did that back-to-back nights as well, because they were both somewhat close games. I think it was 5-0 at the time in the 8th, and that's still, don't forget, we lost 2 games in Idaho Falls to the league's best hitting offense. So 5-0, you're thinking, okay, 6 outs, they might try to get small ball here, get a few more runs back, but both games 4 and game 5 came as a 3-run home run. The first time off Rob Hughes, the second time off Nicolo Panazzi, who was the pitcher on that mound. And put the game away both nights.
By the way, he destroyed us in Idaho Falls.
So that's the other thing, right, Casey? So Nicolo Panazzi.
That guy killed us.
The Bennett Flynn. I mean, these are guys that we could not touch in Idaho Falls, where it should be harder to pitch. The breaking balls don't break. You come to California, you get more spin, you get more break. You should actually have more success. And our hitters were able to adjust. So you don't see a team all year. You never face their pitching. You have a hard time those first couple of games. And then by the end of the year, they made the adjustment, and they were able to get it done. And for Cam, the 2 huge home runs were 2 game winners.
Yeah. And earlier in that game, to give him his due, Jake Allgaier, not 1 but 2 of our top choices for top plays this season. I'll start with the first one.
First pitch is a high, deep drive to right. It's way back, and Jake Allgaier has hit it out of the park. Shades of Brett Carson from 2024. He takes on the right field line and hits it 367 feet over the Oakland bullpen.
And you could see I inserted some of the cell phone video I got from the crowd right after that home run, because the vibes that day in the ballpark, unprecedented. Just the way Oakland shows up for this team is just so remarkable. It means so much to us. And when he hit that out, wow, that crowd was going nuts, and that was just a really special moment.
So in my call, you heard me say shades of Brett Carson from 2024. That's when we won a 1-0 game over Yuba in Game 2, and Carson had a home run right down the line just like that from the lefty spot. The other day, it occurred to me, actually, that it also reminded me of the deciding game in that series when Jose Gonzalez hit a home run off of Luke Short in the first. It was 2-0 like that, and you just, this feeling in the pit of your stomach that you think, oh, this is not good. So it had that same effect in my mind, because I thought, this is happening. It's actually happening. In the first inning of that game, when Noah Milliken came back on the mound after getting shelled in Idaho Falls, he loaded the bases. So Idaho Falls, right off the bat, had a chance to score. And you're thinking, you know, have we pressed our luck too much? Have we got away with this back-to-back nights? Is it actually going, like, are we going to be able to finish this off? And sure enough, in the first inning, he got out of it. Allgaier hits the 3-run home run. And then he loaded the bases in the second inning, too.
And I believe we have that clip here. I'm going to hit play.
Back, pinch toward both bases. Pitch to Pappas, a ground ball. It's going to be Allgaier, picks it up. His throw across is in time. Pappas slams the helmet. He can't believe it. Allgaier with the bat, Allgaier with the glove, and the inning is over.
See, you can tell we're in sync now. We're teeing up each other's clips, but dude, That was a big, big moment. And you remember in that game, too, Noah Milliken, who had been the ace all year, was dealing with some arm fatigue, I believe. And it wasn't decided until the very last second to put him out on the mound to start that game. And for him to be able to kind of wiggle his way out of some of those jams that he got himself into, and obviously some help there from a friend in Jake Allgaier. But, man, critical moments in that series.
Yeah, and it's easy to forget that Idaho Falls almost had the lead in Game 3 on the first bout of the game when Druick robbed Eddie Pelk on a home run. You almost forget that they were up 2-0 in the fourth with their ace on the mound and Gary Grosjean before Cobb hits a 2-run home run to tie it, and we didn't really look back from there. And then in that game, 6 runners left on base in the first 2 innings. I mean, it was not this thing where Idaho Falls won and then we just dominated. It was a very exciting, tight series that just happened to see both home teams win all their games. It really could have gone either way. And it really was the acute play by guys like Allgaier who were able to have the big moments, both with the bat and the glove, that just pushed this thing over the line. They just really scratched and clawed. They did not give up the lead once they got it. And they got it done. I mean, the other moment, which we don't have because not only is the call by yours truly not great, but the footage also is not really available of the play, is how the Ballers got there in the first place, which was a double steal by T.J. McKenzie and another player that forced an errant throw by an Ogden catcher that scored McKenzie in the I think it was the bottom of the 7th of the deciding game in the first series.
Yeah.
And someone recently asked me what was my favorite call from the season, and I thought, just if I'm thinking extremely personally, my favorite call probably was the last out of the playoff round, not the championship round, because I had been to four consecutive trips to that division series with a team that I had been with, and I had lost each of the previous 3. So for me, that was finally clearing that hurdle and getting to a championship game. And I thought at that point, almost like the rest is gravy. There's one of the great flyovers we had as well. I remember after Game 2, I was talking to Chris Hall, who's my good friend from Idaho Falls, their assistant general manager, and whom I used to work for. And I just said to him on the way out, I said, hey, get it done in 3. Because if you don't, we will. And sure enough, we did. Because I just thought when we get home, I don't care that we're down 2-0. And I'm not worried about Game 3. The game I was most worried about was Game 4. Because I thought if we lose Game 3, we lose Game 3. If we win it, we win it. But Game 4, if we win it, then we're going to win Game 5. It's just the sort of the feeling you got.
Dan said we broke the Tyler Petersen jinx.
I know, dude. It had been with me for a while. And I had been up in Series 2. How about this? In 2021, we had a 1-game divisional playoff, Idaho Falls at Missoula. And we lost 15-2 on that day or something. That was great. Of course, the Yuba Series, which folks know about. And it was really fun to go back to Idaho Falls, where I had previously worked. And it was fun to play a team like that Aaron had played with Percy. I know you and some of the rest of the staff were out there as well, doing some live streams, and you got to see that town, a place where baseball has been played for almost 90 years at this point, with great history. And it was such a fun championship. And I just can't wait for these rings to get here, man. I got to be honest.
They're sweet. They're very sweet. I've seen all the designs. I even went and got my finger measured. I won't tell you which finger I'm going with just yet, but no, I'm kidding. Idaho Falls was beautiful, and the people there were so kind. I mean, when you walked into that ballpark, every single person's like, "Oh, you're from California? Where are you from? Have you checked out this place yet? Have you eaten at this restaurant? Have you gone to this attraction?" And I'm just like, "Wow, these people are the best." Like, they were so cool. Now, we talked about jinxes, and I felt like there was one thing that we did this year that really, really helped. And often it came at great personal expense to my physical health. But when we did this, Tyler, this clip I'm about to show you, somehow, as long as I fell down and hurt myself, it always worked. And so here you go. Scrappy the rally possum, returning to rally possum form, stiff-arming me, my feet go out, down for the count, and we, sure enough, ended up walking that off. Whenever we did the rally possum bit and somebody fell down, whether it was me or Tarek or one of our E-crew members, it worked every time. We'd either tie or take the lead in walk-off fashion. So that was my contribution to the team, my body to the Ballers, taking those shots from Scrappy. And I remember that day, I was running at Scrappy full speed, and I was yelling, "Stiff arm! Stiff arm!" And then he hit me with it, and if you watch that clip, my feet go whoop, like out from under me, and I was down. I was down for the count.
I was going to say at first that you looked like someone who'd watched a lot of pro wrestling growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the second view, I was like, oh no, his feet actually do slip out from under.
Yeah, no, I really intended to fake the fall that turned into a real fall. And that is one of my low-key favorite moments of the Ballers season. And Dan is correct. That was my daughter Harper out there on security, who often came and supported the Ballers Possum Posse E-crew as I'll call it an intern. She just followed me everywhere I went, but she did a great job all year as well. And what a fun year. I just can't say enough about the season and how fun it was. And I'm so excited to bring it back. And again, here on Christmas Eve, sitting here with you, Tyler, reminiscing, it's almost hard to come up with the words to say because it was just so magical. It was so special to see the tears of joy in Oakland and the way that we were able to deliver that through the championship rally and the parade and the party at Prescott Market. It was just a fun time. It
was a perfect season, and I would caution fans to say, look, we're not going to win 73 games next year. I'm sorry.
We'll win 74.
It's like, no, but no one is going to win 73 games ever.
That's tough.
Again,
it's history.
It's one of a kind. The team that we had, it is never going to be a team we have again. And I don't say that in a way to say that, look, just chill out. I'm saying appreciate that you were there. Because if you ask me as a person who helped scout these players, how do you put together a championship team that wins 73 games? The answer is I don't know. I really don't. So appreciate that you were there for it. It was a historical season. I don't think we're ever going to see anything like it again in the Pioneer League. It's going to be a different year. We're going to play a lot of California games this year. There's going to be a lot of chances for folks to check out the teams on the road. But it was a year that you should hold in your heart and close to your heart. My only thing I will say that I'm disappointed in this year versus year one was that we had no direct MLB signings, which I am still working on this offseason, because I would love to have some guys go this offseason, because this is now a signing period, both for guys who were currently signed, and I'm still working on behalf of guys who have signed elsewhere but were on that 24 squad. And that's part of our promise to players, is that we do have their back. Now, once we start the 25 season, we have to move on to the guys who've committed to us. But we do still support guys like Noah Milliken, James Collier, trying to get them jobs at the next level when it comes to affiliate jobs. So we'll still do our part there. But it's probably the one thing I would say I wish we had is we had someone who we were able to make that happen during the year. Now, because we weren't able to make that happen, maybe that's why we won so many games. It's because our best players stayed on this team and made it the best team. So you can have both. So I think we did get to sort of have our cake and eat it too, which was great. But it's just it will be one of a kind forever. The ring is going to feel good for a couple years. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Even if we don't go back to back or anything like that, I can still hold on to what we were able to accomplish as a team, as a community, and some of these games were just so ridiculous that I might just go watch them back wholesale just to see what they were like, because I didn't have the experience of actually watching these games.
Same.
I had the experience of stressing over them.
Yeah, same.
And
Very much the
working
same.
them,
Yes.
but not as a casual. Put your hand to a bowl of chips and just sit back and watch the game.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, when you have all the responsibility of calling the game, or I'm running the entertainment, and there's so many things we're doing during a game that you really don't get to enjoy them until like the final out. And if there's a wild celebration, then great. Then you can kind of enjoy it a little bit. But up until that point, we're doing so many things that it is not like, I don't think I've experienced the season like a lot of the fans did. And yes, going back and watching these clips helps, but yeah, sitting and watching games wholesale. I mean, all the playoff games and the championship, I would probably want to go back and watch. And I echo everything you said, and I will point out, going into last season, into this year, the Ballers only had one returning position player, only a handful of returning pitchers. And so you can do this. Lightning can strike twice here, but it is an amazing feat, and it is something that, we should all cherish and hold close to our hearts, because it was just an unforgettable year, and I will keep this with me for a long, long time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, kind of, if you want to sort of put a cap on the year, I don't know what we could have done to have make it have gone better. Because I think we really hit a lot of the notes we wanted to hit as far as community partnerships, the baseball side of things, the fan experience. We really soaked ourselves in it. I know for you, you had said to me once or twice that you really got the full minor league experience this year, which is a beast into itself. And there is so much of yourself that you do have to pour into it. I always say that, if I didn't like my job, or if anyone who didn't like baseball, then there's no way you can work in this industry, because it asks so much of you, maybe more than you are even willing to give it sometimes, because you really can't have much of a life in season. Now, of course, it's a little bit more laid back in the off season. I don't have to go down to the office as much, and I can take care of a lot of my business from the war room here. But it's a job not like any other, and it becomes a heck of a lot more fun when you're doing it here at home with these kinds of fans.
Yeah, with good people, with the best fans in the world, with a great organization, a skipper like Aaron Miles, guys like James Harris, Jim Dietrich, obviously Paul and Brian, just amazing people to work with and work for. And that's what makes the year special. And Tyler, as we close this out and we continue to pursue America's Next Top Nevada, my advice to young folks getting into this industry, it echoes a lot of what you just said. If you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work, and you can pour yourself into it like you and I do. I mean, each of us have multiple full-time jobs with this organization, but it doesn't feel like work because we absolutely love what we do. That's why we're sitting here on Christmas Eve, just shooting the breeze and going through it and talking to everybody and showing some of our favorite moments from the season. So yes, if you do what you love, it doesn't feel like work. And yes, Dan, we will see you at Fieldwork in San Leandro on January 13th from 5 to 7 p.m., but we'll probably be there before and after, enjoying some beers out of the championship trophy. Tyler, I think that about wraps it up, but do you want to give anybody one last comment before I hit end stream? I'm hovering over the button right now.
That's. Let me ask you this, actually. Is that going to be our next Beescast, or will we have one after the new year?
That's a really good question. Knowing us and our work ethic, I'm not sure it will be our next Beescast, but it might, and it would make sense if it was.
I think
who knows? Who knows how we roll?
A little 2-hour stream, maybe that could be our next one. We can maybe stack up some news and save it for that little 2-hour period, and then you can either watch or you can join us. And like I said, maybe have a little root beer and pretzel party, as one of my former professors used to say. And come have some libations.
All right, join us, Beescast Live, San Leandro Fieldwork, January 13th. Thank you for joining us on this podcast. Tyler has one more thing to join in with before I hit end stream. Go.
I will say, want to wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. If you're not religious, enjoy your days off. Enjoy the new year. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And Casey and I are both very approachable people. So if you ever want to reach out to either of us, I'm sure we would love to hear from you. And if you want to be the new Nevada, Teamwork Online, 1 day left to apply. It's very competitive, very great, but I love to hear from everybody.
All right. Merry Christmas, everybody. Tyler, as always, a pleasure. Ballers fans, Ballers family, more aptly. I really appreciate you all watching. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for supporting us. And as we flip the calendar to 2026, we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going. We're going to do all this stuff, and we're going to run it back. We're going to win 74 games, right, Tyler?
Sure.